Well, but before the first singles came out, I had been playing in bands for a long time, and on the side I would do things under my own name, or under various names that I would make up for the occasion. And a lot of those songs have ended up being on records over the years, and it had been basically about 10 years or so that I was doing the same sort of big circle of songs, and the last couple years I really haven't even gone back and touched a lot of that music, and I've been writing just at about the same pace, but it just doesn't feel like I need to. It seemed like with the change in the name, really, it gave me some breathing room from a hell of a lot of material. I mean, I noticed this because I started really thinking seriously about it because someone at a show came up to me. They were playing later on. They were just like screwing around on guitars and stuff, and they played this song, and I was like, "What song is that?" And they said, "That's one of yours." And I realized that there's so many songs that I don't really remember, and I can't even recognize when someone's playing it for me. Or I've even gone into a record store before and heard my record playing and didn't know it was me, because really when the record's done, I start working on something new, and mostly changing the name is, it's pretty artificial anyway, the name, as long as like I said, it just gives me some breathing space. People, it's kind of exciting for some people, because right at the exact time when a lot of people are starting to hear this music, they can't quite figure it out. They're like, is this the same band? Is this two different bands? Is this, like even tonight it's billed that this is a new band that just features me, which I kind of think is pretty good.
Describe this tour that you're on right now. You're telling me before, it seems a bit of a marathon tour, and it seems like you're playing a lot and you're putting out a lot of music and you're always touring a lot. Do you have an affinity for the road and playing out and stuff like that? Or
well, once you're doing it, for some people, and I think I'm one of them, it's better to just keep doing it, because it takes a while. Like after you've been out for a month or two, when you get home, although I have the great desire to write, and I'll pick up the guitar every day and work on something, and that stuff usually is really weak and you're sort of desperate and sort of really weary sounding, and you haven't had any time to. I haven't even had time to process 30 or 40 shows in a row that I did. So I know that the longer I can extend either the not being on the road part of the year or the being on the road part of the year, the more the more I'm able to concentrate on a group of songs that I'm trying to put together that ultimately, hopefully, make a good record. With this new record, which we're going to record in November with this band, the 7 or 8 pieces, that's mostly songs written and worked up on the road, which I'm really happy about. It has taken a lot of touring and a lot of time to get songs that I think are good enough to make a record, because if I had just been at home working on them, it would have come much faster, I think. Because it's hard to find time, when we're crammed into, like, all sleeping together in the same bed and on the floor and everything. It's hard to find even 5 minutes just to write, where it's quiet. You certainly can't do it in the rock club. when they're pumping loud ass house music. Yeah, Jenny Benford, she's been on the last 2 LPs, and she did some, we did a 7-inch together. She's in Jim and Jenny the Pine Tops, and you know, we went to school together. I've known her for years. We sang, we did like, you know, country duets, you know, like 12 years ago or something, and we've, you know, kept in touch. She tours a lot, and we tour a lot, and that's meant that if the 2 tours were going on simultaneously, it was really just basically impossible to get her. Maybe you could get her for a day or something, but instead of bothering for that, we just scheduled far in advance a time when she wouldn't be on the road with her band, and it's, you know, it's made our band great having her. She writes great songs. She's going to have some. Hopefully a couple of her own songs will be on the new Magnolia record. Because it's not, I don't want it to be a band, and I don't want it to be my band. I've never wanted that. And so it's nice to, you know, I have a songwriter that I have a long history with, who adds a lot to these records, and just so happens to have some great original stuff that is just gonna, it's just gonna take the place of songs that I might have written. I try to be with people who play in a sympathetic kind of way, but I want them to actually play out. And from, you know, night to night to night, it's really different, and I try to just sing in a way that understands that there's there's 6 other people in the room playing music with me. And it's not about just me. Shouldn't be. It should be about, you know, making that 5 minutes of music mean something to everybody who did it. And if we put it out there, then I hope that everybody feels like it's worth it, because there's a lot of just pretty useless music, or music that doesn't really have any heart in it. You can hear it, but yeah, I think if you have something worth saying, you might as well try to say it in a way that means something.
Friends for long enough to get rid of them. You found the kind you knew would only kill you, so you surrounded yourself with them. At least the dark don't hide it.
still try to do a significant amount of shows a year where it's just either me or just one or two people, if I can, because, you know, with most of the people in the band have, you know, a hell of a lot of other obligations, plus they're all in like 3 other bands, so scheduling is difficult, but I'm used to it and I expect it, because if I don't sit down and say this is the band and this is the lineup that's going to be, you know, permanent or semi-permanent, I have to be able to deal with the sort of constant, you know, flux of the players. Basically wrote, what did I write in Chicago? I wrote Ghost Tropic there. I wrote Didn't It Rain there, the Magnolia Electric Co, Pyramid Electric Co, and some, you know, a mass of singles and things. I mean, I wrote a lot of music there, and I also wrote a lot of music in, you know, in Indiana or Ohio. You can't really, unless I specifically refer to some geographical location in one of those places, you can't really tell where I wrote it or where I was living at the time. I don't think you
but like,
can.
But what I'm saying is, like, you know, what basically influenced you, you know, growing up and listening to music and, you know, like.
Well, I think the places
that you grew up. I mean, do they think that
had
a large impact on your?
Yeah, but it hasn't the large impact on me every day wherever I'm at, not just in my sort of my music writing. You know, the hour that I'm going to be in that dark little dungeon of a club is going to be just as influential as if I was, you know, spending an hour in the woods. It's just a different kind of different source material, I think. So it all affects the writing in the end.
Influences do you think you can point to growing up and you know, musical
Musically?
influences? or
Well,
things that maybe, you know, stick out in your mind that said, wow, you know, I want to do that when I grow up?
I never thought that once. I still don't want to do this. I just don't know what else to do. And once I started doing this more and more, seeing that it was going to be impossible to, liking to be on the road or liking to spend, 6 hours a day writing, makes it really hard to be, an employable person. And once I just woke up and I suddenly realized I was doing music more than I was actually going to work. It had gone from working full-time jobs to not consciously, hardly working at all and being on tour all the time. And I've always liked records. When my folks had a really, really great record collection, 70s stuff, a lot of. I can remember from the first time I could operate the turntable, I was listening to David Bowie, Brian Eno, Roxy Music, Patti Smith, Lou Reed, Velvet Underground stuff, a little bit of Dylan, but not much. Neil Young, it didn't really concentrate on really the folky stuff. It was a good mix of. There was a lot of heavy rock in there, Deep Purple and Sabbath, and it was pretty well rounded. And if it had a good cover, I put it on and I listened to it.
Do you find with more people in the tour van, there's more people to fight with for control over the tape deck?
No, it's great because none of us listen to the terrible bands that are out now. We're just really great. We play with all these bands on tour who we're supposed to know about. And you've never heard them or heard of them. And, we listen to the oldies radio station or the really shitty contemporary country music. And most of us have memorized the words to most of the top 10 terrible country songs right now. It's pretty great. We're thinking about finding a karaoke place and testing it.
All right. Well, thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
All right.
How many ghosts will I meet on the road? That's a fear. How hard you're running. and that for once almost was good enough. Almost was good enough. Almost was good enough. Thanks. Thanks, Dylan.